This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hi everyone, this is Shelby Waters, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show with Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Wave Maker, Shelby Waters.
Hello, how are you today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Can you tell us where the Wave Maker is making waves next?
So right now I'm actually taking a short break. I have a concussion, but I'll be at IWA in New Jersey on June 24th, as well as High Ground Pro Wrestling in Mayfield, Pennsylvania, June 10th.
Alright, and where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Yeah, so all of my social media is @ Shelby Waters, super easy to find. And all of my merchandise I just sell privately, so you can message me on Instagram or Facebook, and I usually ship that out pretty quick.
Alright, and you don't even have to go looking for those links. All of the links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Alright, now you mentioned that you wrestle for High Ground Pro Wrestling and IWA. Can you tell us about your relationship with those companies?
Sure, so High Ground Pro Wrestling is based in my hometown, so I was born and raised in Mayfield, Pennsylvania. So I am definitely the hometown girl there, and I love going there, seeing all my fans. And at IWA, I'm currently the women's champion. I just started wrestling there a few months ago, and they put on a great show, and they have great talent. So definitely check either of those out.
Right, and you, like you said, you just won that championship. What does it kind of mean to you to win? I believe that was your first championship as well.
Yep, so that was my first championship, and it was such an amazing experience. It's honestly hard to put words to it because it was just such a wholesome experience because I worked so hard for years, and it finally paid off.
Right, because it's this is kind of like your second one in pro wrestling, no?
I'm sorry, my second what?
This is kind of like your second one in pro wrestling, no?
Not my second championship, no.
No, I mean your second go at pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Well, technically, I guess you could say like third or fourth.
All right. You know what they say? Dodo 4 times the charm, no?
A lot of back and forth just for either medical reasons, personal reasons, but I'll always be in the professional wrestling industry one way or another.
You just mentioned you just got a concussion. Was that in a match or was it?
Actually, no. I was setting up for a match, and metal frame from the entranceway fell on my head. But then the next day I wrestled, and then I got kicked in the head by someone. So it probably didn't help.
Oh wow! Do you remember the match or?
Oh yeah, I remember the whole thing. It was just like,
okay.
All the adrenaline was kind of what got me through the weekend. But then after the weekend, that's when I started having all my symptoms.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about your rivalry with Valerie Verman and Samuel Thompson?
So I've known Val for a while, and I'll give both of them credit where credit is due. They're both fantastic workers, and they know what they're doing in the ring. But man, they drive me nuts. They're coming into my hometown thinking they run the place. They do not. But they both of them, like I said, they're great wrestlers.
I think it kind of started with Valerie taking the low road to take a victory over you. No.
So it started when High Ground first opened. They put us into a gauntlet match, and she eliminated, the second to last person, and then I was the last one. I came in, I eliminated her, and then they jumped me after because they weren't happy that they won. And then at the next show, same thing, jumped me after the match. So we have a recurring theme with them.
Ah, I see. Well, I believe you had you had a tag team match with the two of them. That kind of put things to rest for now. I say for now. No.
Well, because of my concussion, I actually have a surprise for Val at the next show, which I can't share, but
Fair enough.
it's going to be a surprise because at the end of the tag team match, they decided they wanted to bring a bull rope into it. So we challenged them to a bull rope match. But because I am injured currently, I won't be able to wrestle at that show, but I have a surprise for her.
All right. Stay tuned. All right. You were in the ring with Gabby Gilbert, a very well-known and respected name on the Indies. What was that experience like?
She was definitely a very tough opponent. I never wrestled anyone quite like her. She knows what she's doing. She's very hard hitting, and truthfully, I would love to have a singles match with her.
All right. Um. Now, like I said, your timeline in pro wrestling is 5 years, but it's kind of bouncy because of pandemic injuries, etc. Um, how do you measure your progress in pro wrestling? Do you start from how how do you progress? How do you measure your progress?
So, truthfully, even when I'm talking to other people, I don't really talk about it because I usually will just say like, yeah, I've been in for 5 years, but that's with pandemic and taking some time off. So when people are asking like in ring doing matches, I would say about a year and a half
Okay.
because my training was 2 years, and then between the pandemic and needing time off, that kind of filled in the rest of the gap because originally I was going to come back earlier in 2022, but I needed ankle surgery. So
I believe your first match in this one was August, September.
it was, yep, September 22nd, something around there, 24th.
Okay. So we're coming up on another full year.
Yep.
Alright. Um Now you wrestled Mother Endless and Ariel Nix in I believe it was a 5-way. Um Obviously Nix and Mother Endless, two other well known respected names on the independents. What was that experience like?
So with Nyx, I truthfully in that match I didn't kind of go one on one with her very much. It was more just the whole group, like all four of us in the ring. But with Mother Endless, it was me and her having a lot of personal time. And let me tell you, she is one scary and very tough woman.
Yeah, we've interviewed quite a few people that's had rivalries with her, and that's been the theme when it comes to Mother Endless. No.
She knows exactly what she's doing, and her how she portrays herself is is very scary, but it's interesting too. Like you just want to see what she's like if you don't really know her.
Right. And we've had a little bit of a we've been able to pull the curtain a little bit on Mother Endless from stories as well. Right. Um. So you didn't grow up loving pro wrestling like most of everybody else has. Um. I'm curious, what was the plan before pro wrestling came into your life?
So the immediate plan that was right before it, because I knew I wanted to get into some kind of sport because, um, various reasons, but the biggest reason was, I just wanted to socialize more, and working out and living a little healthier lifestyle is definitely better for me because I have, chronic pain and other things going on. So originally I was going to do kickboxing, but then I had a friend and he's like, well, just come try wrestling. They're doing a tryout. You might like it. So I came down and I ended up loving it and staying with it.
So kickboxing was the plan before pro wrestling.
Yep.
Have you considered going back to that to pick up something? Want a new hold, as they say in pro wrestling.
No, just because with pro wrestling, it really like takes up a lot of time, and you really need to put the time and commitment into wrestling to get what you want out of the business. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get. So I'm always rather just all my extra time, I'd rather be in the ring training, getting better.
All right. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but you have something in common with John Cena. Do you know what it is?
Oh gosh, no.
You are a reverse second generation wrestler.
You know what? That I never thought of that.
Can you tell us about being a reverse second generation wrestler?
So, with like my dad and everything, it was kind of a very like interesting because growing up, like my dad like would because I had two older brothers, they would be wrestling, messing around, screwing around. So when I started wrestling, my dad kind of thought it was funny at first, and then when I was getting ready to take one of my breaks, it was right before COVID. He asked me, he's like, would it be weird if I joined? I'm like, no, like go for it. I'm not even really going to be there right now. So I'm actually super happy that he joined wrestling because it was just nice to see him have something else besides, just taking care of the kids all the time or working all the time. So it was nice to actually see him wrestle and do stuff. But on the same token, I hate watching my dad wrestle. I've never felt so much anxiety. So now I get how the rest of my family feels.
Well, you were actually in the ring with him during a battle royal, no?
Yes, I was.
What was that experience like?
It was just very like funny. Like to think about it was funny. To do it, it was enjoyable. It was just like bittersweet. But he actually has reffed one of my matches, so it's nice but hilarious at the same time.
I mean, what did it mean to you to be in the ring with your father and being the one that was the wrestler before him?
Well, we actually weren't in the ring together before he started. Like when I came back, he was already getting ready for his match.
Okay.
So I actually saw him like wrestle before we were in the ring together.
All right. And is there any plans of maybe a tag team match?
Most likely not. I think our gimmicks are a little different.
Fair enough. Speaking of gimmicks, if I said the name Dixon, what would your reaction be?
She is long and dead.
Well, just doing research. What was he like a Mad Max esque character?
Uh, yeah, you could put it to that, but that years ago, so I don't really talk about it.
Last question about her. Was that your idea of the gimmick, or was that something given to you?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Alright. That brings us to our next segment. Shelby Waters' Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
So, there's a few, but I guess the most memorable one, we went down south for a show. It was me and my two friends, and we ended up going all the way down there, 8-hour drive. We get there, the show starts, the show gets canceled right before our match because someone who was untrained got into the ring and injured themselves. So we had to drive all the way back home, and we didn't get paid or anything, and it was just such a fun ride, like, because it was just such a, like, what just happened experience.
I can imagine. Alright. You were a part of TCW's Goddess, their relaunch. I believe that's an all-women's promotion. What
Yeah,
did
that's
it...
where I wrestled with Mother Endless and Nyx and Angel.
Okay. So what did it mean to you to be on a all-female show?
I truthfully, and even with this promotion, I loved it there, and I love what they have going. They have great production, great talent. The owners are great, and it was just nice to really see a company like put more effort into women workers, because a lot of companies won't do that.
Right. But luckily there are a few all-female promotions that are very successful. Obviously, Mission Pro, Capital Championship Wrestling, just to name a couple. Alright.
Yeah, and the other all women show I was at was with Bree Combination Wrestling. And same thing, great company to work for. I loved the experience.
Alright. Can you tell us about your love of Naruto?
Yes, I can. So I remember still, like, this, I don't even remember how old I was, but it was when Naruto first, like, aired in the US, and my brother just somehow heard about it, so he's like, we're gonna watch it. So me and my brothers, we watched the first episode, and we watched it every week. And I quite literally grew up on Naruto because I was so young, and that show was, it teaches you a lot of things, like, about, like, friendship and just how to treat people. So I have a love for that show, and I actually even got as part of my sleeve, a Naruto tattoo.
And when you say grow up watching Naruto, quite literally, you're growing up watching Naruto because it's a 700 episode anime.
Yeah, and, like, I want to say when it came out, I was like 9, maybe, like 9 or 10. Like, I want to say I was like 8, like anywhere between 8 and 10. I was when it first aired in the U.S. So literally grew up on it, and I love that show.
Favorite character?
A lot of people don't like her, but I love Sakura. She is all-time favorite.
I, I I don't mind Sakura. I like her as well. Sasuke. Never liked Sasuke.
I liked him, but, like, he was like that character you love to hate.
I get that, but I mean, like, okay, your whole gimmick is using wrestling terminology here. his whole gimmick was getting revenge on his brother, and then what happens? His brother tells him exactly how to defeat him, and he does exactly what his brother tells him to do, and goes to the dark side and does the exact same thing his brother did. That just didn't make sense to me.
I mean, I guess the way like I kind of saw it was if that's how his brother got that kind of power, that's how he was going to get it.
Yeah, but then you see Naruto, and obviously he did it the right way. Do you have
Fair point.
Do you have a favorite episode or arc?
I would have to say my favorite episode is Sakura and Ino in the Chunin exam in the original Naruto.
Oh, that's way back.
Oh yeah, that's also what my tattoo is from.
Okay. If I had a personal favorite episode, it would probably be Chikamaru's exam against Tamari.
Tamari?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another good one.
I don't know why, but I love that episode.
It was a good one.
Does your love of anime stop at Naruto, or do you watch other animes as well?
There's a few others that I watch. I wouldn't say that I watch like a lot, but My Hero Academia is another favorite. Inuyasha. I'm like drawing a blank on the other ones.
Are you up to date on My Hero?
I have to watch the newest season still.
Okay, so you're only on season 5.
I believe so. I just started it.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts on season 5? Because depending on who you ask, some people like it, don't. Some people don't.
I only really watched I think an episode or two of it.
Okay.
But so far it was like a little slow.
That will be a continuing trend.
Oh, lovely.
Believe um the season before that, season 4 was what happened in season 4?
That was I believe with Gentle Criminal.
Yes.
I hated him.
What about Chisaki? Overhaul.
I I liked it, but something about it just didn't sit well with me. Like I feel like they needed maybe like another episode right before the ending.
Interesting, because I thought he was well done. Obviously, the stuff with Gentle Criminal was just a backdrop for the musical performance that they had in that season.
Yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of that part.
I felt like it served the purpose, and obviously the purpose was to make Ari break out of her grip of Overhaul. So it wasn't for nothing, and that's why I liked it.
That's a fair point.
Right. You competed in Halo tournaments?
Yep, that was when I was around like 10 years old.
Okay, so how did you get into Halo tournaments, and how did you do in them?
I did fairly well. It was a little bit hard to kind of remember like the details because it was so long ago, but I got into it because of my older brothers because they're very big into like gaming and like tabletop games, all that stuff too.
What's Halo game was it?
At the time, it was Halo 2 and Halo 3.
Sweet.
My personal favorite is Halo Reach, though.
Ooh, can you tell us about your love of Halo Reach?
I just think the storyline, like for the campaign, was amazing, and the Forge world they added was just all around. It was just a step up from the third game.
I agree. Halo Reach is my personal favorite of the series and one of my favorite all-time games altogether. For the exact same reason, the campaign is probably one of the best, and the music that's behind it is fantastic.
It is. It really is.
You mentioned your brothers, and obviously your dad's already in pro wrestling. If they wanted to get into pro wrestling, would you be the supportive sister, or would you be the Roman Reigns fall in line Oos sister?
Uh, I feel like it would kind of be in between, but I can definitely tell you my brothers would never join wrestling. I was always like the most like active one and one always getting hurt because doing like dumb things. My brothers were very much homebodies.
Fair enough. Um, can you tell us about the significance of the anchor tattoo on your leg? I believe it says, "Be the one to guide, but never hold me down."
Yep, so that was just my first tattoo. Kind of did it for both of my like kind of my family members, just a little bit of just world experience. Nothing too crazy.
How long did it take to get it?
So that one took about 4.5 hours.
What was the longest one to get?
So the longest tattoo, I definitely like not total, but my Legend of Korra tattoo. I probably put about 10 hours into that one just because the area it is and how big the tattoo was.
Right.
But in one sitting, the longest was about 5.5 hours.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it gets a little boring.
Yeah. Um, is there any plans to add to your tattoo collection?
Yep, so I'm going to be doing a whole leg sleeve of TV shows that I like. And then eventually a few others here and there, but the leg sleeve is, as of right now, what I'm focusing on.
Do you have the next one in mind?
So I started the next one, and it's for the TV show Bones,
Okay.
but I still have to get the color into it.
Okay. What are some of the other TV shows you had in mind to put on your leg?
The 100, Grey's Anatomy, and then from there it's whatever space I have left over. I get to fill in the blanks.
Maybe a My Hero Academia?
Yep, that's kind of going to be one of the fill in the blank ones.
Maybe a Halo Reach?
Probably not, just because it's a game and I strictly want to do TV shows on the rest. Like even my first tattoo, I kind of wish I got it on the other leg so I didn't have to have it with the sleeve, but too late for that.
Oh no. Can you tell us your love of Applebee's?
Everyone loves Applebee's after a wrestling show.
You're not gonna get any complaints from me, for sure. What's your go-to?
The chicken, I forget what it's called. It's like the chicken and shrimp thing. It's like with onions and like mushrooms and stuff. So good.
Have you ever had the wonton tacos?
I did. They are also very good.
Literally my favorite thing. I will just go to Applebee's just for those, because they are delicious.
They really are.
Alright. You're a candle maker.
Yep.
How do you get into candle making, and what do you get out of candle making?
Saves me money because I don't have to buy candles all the time. But the reason I actually started it was because I knew when I had my ankle surgery, I was going to be very bored at home for a couple months. So I decided to start doing that because that would be something I'd still be able to do.
Okay. Are you making scented candles, or?
Yeah. And like wax melts, that kind of stuff too.
Alright. Hypothetically speaking, if you were to get signed by AEW, and they decided to make a tag team with the Butcher, Britt Baker, Would you be the candlestick maker?
Oh gosh, no.
Alright. It's time for the colossal question. Um, they decided to make a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first three songs on the Shelby Waters movie soundtrack?
Probably anything from Green Day.
Hmm. Like, do you have like specific songs?
No, honestly, basically anything that Green Day puts out, I really like. And same with Falling in Reverse. So as long as it's those two, I'm good.
So just copy and paste those two albums.
Yeah.
Alright, and now that we have the soundtrack down, who plays Shelby? And you can't say yourself because you're obligated to make a Stanley-esque cameo.
Ooh, I really don't know on that one. I probably wouldn't want anybody fit like already famous.
So like an unknown.
Yeah.
That's a
Because personally, I like one of my big like pet peeves with movies is like if an actor gets so famous off of one role, that's like all that for me they're associated with,
right.
and that drives me nuts if I see them in like something else.
Yeah, like you're like he's not a loyal, he's Iron Man.
Mhm.
Yeah. And every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three people in your movie, and who would play them?
Hmm. I would have to say Norman Reedus just because this way I can like work with him and like actually do like get to talk to him. But besides him, I'd probably go with two more unknowns.
And but who would be in your movie? Actual people. People that are significant to you in your that would be a key role in your movie.
Definitely my friend group now because they're kind of what helped me get to where I am. And then as same for my family.
Okay. Now on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Disgusting.
So you are anti.
Yeah, that's like a sin.
It's a sin.
100% disgusting.
Alright. Um, what's your spirit Pokemon?
I'd have to think about that one a little bit, but my favorite Pokemon's Piplup.
I mean, I could see similarities. Shelby Waters, Piplup, water types.
I've always just I loved Piplup because my favorite animal is also penguins, so it just worked out perfectly.
Alright. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
I do not.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, because a Doug can't spell. We love the late great Tracy Smothers, trying to keep the memory alive on the show. And the weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual rock.
No, I don't really do gimmick matches.
Well, just for context, there is this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
I mean, in the wrestling world, there's a little bit of everything, so it doesn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, and he did not win the match either.
Well, that's probably not good to put on his resume.
Alright, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would like to see myself in 5 years with wrestling just to have a little bit more confidence and having more solid matches that, in the sense of I can hold my own a little bit better. I'm learning, still every day. So I'm hoping in 5 years that that's where I'll be and I'll be able to help newer women in the business as well.
And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Shelby Waters is all about?
So it's not out yet, but it will be soon. It is me versus Nathaniel Cunningham at PCWA.
Will that be on YouTube?
Yep, once I get it, I will upload it to my YouTube.
Perfect. I will, when you upload it, I will update the video with a link to that match.
Perfect.
Alright. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Sure.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Paige.
Worst wrestler.
I wouldn't say she's the worst wrestler, but I just do not like Ronda Rousey.
Fair enough. Your main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Paola Blaze.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Ooh, I'd have to think about that one. I really don't know on that one.
We could come back to it if you wanted time to think.
Sure.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Dead. Unfortunately.
We would have also accepted tastes great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
I don't like it, so I don't care.
Alright. New Japan wrestler Tai Chi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
And you can wear whatever you want, but personally, I like when, at least everyone's butt is covered. But you do you. Not my body. I don't get to say what you wear.
Alright. Do you have an entrance theme?
Oh, yes. So it would most likely be Lita's.
Okay, solid pick. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No.
And that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Shelby, for coming on and doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Once again, where can we find all things Shelby Waters?
Yep, all of my social media is just @_ Shelby Waters. Super easy to find.
And merchandise they can DM you for, correct?
Yep.
Alright, and you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all of our social media will be in the description of the video below, or on YouTube at Castbox. Simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you're on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt.
Exactly.
Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, put on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Fair One Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview Brandy Lauren. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. And you can follow me personally at JameShane993. Alright, Shelby, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Sounds good.
For our very special guest, Shelby Waters, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.